I didn't press it.
We gotta fix the timer, I think.
Everything is broken. Everything is broken except for our
This a
judgment.
mess.
Dude, can I tell you the laziest thing in the world that I'm doing right now?
Yes.
I have my camera set up directly in front of my monitors, but I don't want to like separate the C of my monitors so it can see me. So I'm just going to use a studio display camera. Is that okay?
I like it. Actually, I'm into the angle. I think it adds
Oh, it adds some character.
a little character.
What was that dude from Home Improvement that you only ever saw his nose?
Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Here we go.
Did you ever see his face?
Yeah. I remember
dude.
that reveal.
The big reveal of just the chiseled jaw.
Yeah.
What good self-awareness for them to know that if you did this, it just created such a
mystique.
Yeah. It was good. Hey, welcome and good morning, good afternoon. This is Release Notes, where Hunter and I just talk a lot of crap about the latest and greatest in AI tools for people who like to build things, people who like to play around.
Dude, I got to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, for those that are just tuning in for the first time, back when Tommy and I started the show in like November of last year.
Yes.
You were gung ho, all things design. And I was like, no, we should talk about AI and dev and building and whatever. And you're like, no, design. And then we took our little summer hiatus and now we've come back. And without my prompting, you have changed the perspective of this show.
Nope. I'm already going to show you. Some design stuff. So just to derail Hunter, because I want to make sure I discredit everything he says.
Inga's always allowed. She's the best.
If Inga Hampton, friend of the show, just quick appetizer before we get into all the good stuff. Dude, like
she needs to calm down.
Liquid glass. Okay. Final boss. And what? What? At what point will Figma create this ever?
How does she do it?
On her couch with a trackpad is what she said.
Yeah, that's what she does.
You know? And then I want to give a little love and then we'll get out of this. But old Gal, he went viral earlier this year for something dope and then puts together this framer MoGraph. And dude, I love this stuff. Every time you and your team drop something cool, this is kind of the vibe it gives me. But like, dude, you guys should You should use Gal for some inspiration here because
Dude,
this thing went viral yesterday or the day before.
yeah. We are going to start a marketing campaign somewhat soon for Control Tower. Um, we're gonna take notes, man. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's called Control Tower.
maybe.
I heard from a birdie that that's one hell of a product you've been demoing.
It seems that people like it. Yeah, it seems that people like it. And you know what makes me so happy about that? As we went through the whole process of defining what it would be, we just said we're only going to build what we want. Like that's it. Like the most insanely opinionated. We don't really care about feature requests unless we agree with them. Like it's just for us. And incidentally, people that are in our industry are like, this is amazing. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I didn't realize this camera angle was exposing my sloppy, unorganized Wi-Fi stuff over
Oh,
here.
what do we have going
Oh,
on,
wow.
man? What is this? What is this? How do I hold on?
Nope, we can't expand it.
Ah, no. I wanted to see all the goods. Okay. You got lucky this time. Hey, you're a design studio guy.
Sometimes.
What do you think about the National Design Studio? How versed are you on this new initiative?
I've never seen this, but I like it.
National Design Studio, America by Design. I think this is the studio being led by our boy from Airbnb, and they're going to redesign all of the U.S. government's IPs from like the
Oh, Joe
VA
Gebbia?
website. I believe so. Yeah.
I like it.
Pretty cool to see this, man. I think this is a banger little website. I like how. Oh, you can apply. You can apply. Careful, man. Petter might be gone.
It's time for me to get a new job.
But the real news, man, OpenAI's Dev Day just wrapped, and I don't know how much you paid attention to this. I perused. I think the takeaways from what I saw, we saw Agent Kit get launched. Don't know if you've played with that. They kind of announced some cool things around it.
I have. I don't love it,
Okay.
but I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
Codex is now general. Everyone has access to Codex. Have you been using Codex at all?
Using it literally this second.
Ooh, okay. Curious to hear your thoughts. ChatGPT has apps inside of it now. So devs and creators like you and I can launch and even monetize these apps in their marketplace.
Yes. Has that gone live yet though?
Not in my interface.
Not in my interface either.
And we've seen a lot of people announce the different types of like I think Figma's stock just jumped like 7% on the announcement that they're integrating with OpenAI, and we'll look at that in a second. Then we got like multimodal agent support. Everything's going agentic, dude. And we heard the word agentic earlier this year, but people are actually showing up and launching agentic building and workflows now. I don't really use like any manually created agentic workflows yet. I think I'm a little late to that game.
Do you use Claude Code?
Well, okay, that's fair. But what I'm seeing now is there's like actual builders, drag and drop builders happening in OpenAI to build your agentic workflows. I've used like N8N. So I don't know. Give me what is the actual definition of a true agentic workflow?
I mean, this seems to be a point of contention. My understanding, at least the way that I would look at it, is an actual agentic workflow is when an LLM receives a request or a question or whatever it is, it reasons, it calls a tool, and it takes action on the original prompt until it's done, right? That's my understanding of what an agent is. So it's some form of reasoning, some form of tool call, some form of like progress, not a workflow, which a workflow might be like if this, then do that from one LLM to another kind of thing. So I think what OpenAI has done with Agent Builder is still workflow based. Now, I've played with it. I played with ChatKit. You can set tool calls from within an agent. So you could essentially like you can do something as simple as like, hey, once you trigger ChatKit and you're talking with our agent, this agent has access to like 10 client tools, for example, on the back end. That's an agent. But in the instances where you're building a bunch of like flows, those are more so workflows, like start, customer lookup, analyze bills. Like that's a workflow, right? Until that agent gets to the last step where it says create chart, it's just been a workflow so far. And so I think that this is a really nice consumer friendly way to do this, but it isn't entirely agentic.
Got it. I find it interesting that they made this kind of what you see is what you get workflow builder for their agents. I haven't
So
played with this.
supposedly in 6 weeks, and Codex wrote 90% of the code.
Really?
Supposedly, that's what I read. I didn't do my diligence to see if that was confirmed by OpenAI, but I think that's generally the case,
Okay. Well, I
which
think
is crazy.
that's pretty interesting. And I mean, I think we're seeing across the board. I mean, like especially on the dev tool sides, what we're seeing a lot of stuff is like for example, Cursor, they just released the ability. This seems like they're late to this game, but they released the ability to automate planning of markdown documents whenever
Dude,
you
it's really good.
is it good? What
It's really good, but my gripe, and we're gonna as we get into our S tier rankings here in a little bit, we're gonna get into this. My gripe is that it won't call MCP tools in planning mode, at least not yet, and that really hurts its ability.
interesting. Okay. So I mean, but this is fairly new, right? They launched this what, two
A
days
couple
ago?
days ago, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So I released a video just recently showing a little bit deeper of the workflow I'm using Figma to Claude Code. Nothing crazy. But people were asking like, "Hey, how are you some people said I almost do the same thing, but I use Cursor instead of the CLI Claude Code." And I said, "Yeah, I think, there a lot of similarities. There are some differences when you use the Claude Code CLI versus something like Cursor. Like my understanding, one of the more noteworthy differences is just how well the Claude Code CLI accesses and handles many documents, right? Isn't that kind
Mhm.
of one of the bigger benefits of the CLI?
Yeah, so the big benefit of the CLI, again, it goes back to tool calls. The
Mm,
CLI is going to be much better with using tools, making it a more effective agent, whereas Cursor still is a little bit more sandboxed,
right.
or requires a little bit more hand holding throughout the process. Claude Code, especially if you're using Opus, or like Codex, they're going to be much more like truly agentic, calling a lot more tools, taking care of a lot more functions. Like, I mean, I've had each of those tools run for like over an hour. And some people will have them run
Just
overnight.
working, just like
Mhm.
doo-doo-doo.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Especially once you start using hooks within your workflow, I mean, they'll work all night.
Yeah, everyone's getting into that side, and you mentioned Opus, dude. The thing, Sonnet 4.5 is now making its way inside of all the
Yep.
additional editors. I I am not a smart person, so I don't have benchmarking. All right, I'm going to give you my S tier ranking in a moment, but I don't really know how to benchmark Sonnet 4.5 versus Opus. But what I can tell you is I use them, and even for like creative tasks, helping write my D&D campaigns.
Mhm.
Sonnet 4.5, especially on coding, obviously, but Sonnet 4.5 outshines Opus in almost every way, other than I reach context limits faster.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you a true story. Okay. I use 4.5 as my main daily driver. Um, Lately, I've been using Droid, and I use 4.5 on high reasoning. This morning, it was frustrating me to no end. And then I fed GPT-5 Codex high, the exact same problem, the exact same prompt. Codex fixed it in like one go when Sonnet
Wow.
4.5 had been trying to do it for 3 hours.
Really?
Yep. Yep. But I've seen the reverse. I've seen it
Yeah.
to where Codex will struggle, and then 4.5 is like, got you, dog. And that's why I'm a big believer in jumping between these different models, to approach problems.
Oh, that seems like so much work, man.
It is, but I mean, like, you're fucking building complex things, you know? The beauty of it is that an agent can do a lot of the lifting, but like you're still in control. You still got to get it done.
How am I supposed to multitask if I've got to multitask inside of one task? Ah, jeez. All right. Well, you're gonna have to show me some of that. But here's the other thing I'm learning, right? Is on the go. Like this is the thing. Now we have these creature comforts. Oh, I have to do more work. I can't one shot, right? And I kind of talked about last week and even in the video I released, you got to get rid of the language of one shotting. This stuff takes
For sure.
this stuff takes time. It takes elbow grease.
Hmm.
Um, but there is a little level of convenience. I'm like, I wonder when that's going to be available. And the thing we're starting to see, there's some rumor on the horizon that Claude Code pushing out more. Well, there's this. This is kind of a two-part thing, and I'm doing a bad job because I'm lumping them together. We have tools that are starting to become accessible from your mobile device, right? Riley Brown with his Vibe Code app, and we have other apps that are coming out that are like, hey, I think Replit has a mobile version that you can build
Yep.
from.
Yeah,
Um,
they were early to that game. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and I think we're starting to see that. My understanding, though, uh, if we look at the Claude Code to be released on the mobile app, so this is an example. So we have some of these devices, we have some of these tools leaning into making mobile apps, and then we have some of the tools that are like, no, 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 you can use Claude Code as a mobile app. And that's kind of interesting to me. What do you think about that?
I am I don't know what I think about it yet. I'm very, very excited about the stuff that Riley Brown's doing. I haven't actually talked to Riley Brown much, but I love the dude's hustle, and I'm excited to see what they're doing. Here's my biggest concern, my biggest issue. Um, the majority of the work that I've done thus far, which is, I mean, no, I would say all of the work that I've done thus far with vibe coding, I need to see the results, right? I
Right,
need to
right,
open localhost. I got to npm install. I got to have the packages. I got to have my environment variable set up. I've got to see the work it's doing. And rarely do I think the agents are good enough to just go off on their own without my oversight. And
right,
so it's hard for me to build a mental picture of I'm okay. Okay, I'm going to have the agent build something of consequence, something that I want to go to production, something I want people to use, something that's going to make me money, and I trust it enough to just do it without my oversight and tons of work. And that's where I struggle with mobile. I definitely think in some cases, if there's like a super specific bug, or maybe it's a mobile bug, or there's a piece of research I want it to do, being able to call Claude Code from my phone would be sick. But being able to work on something I want to go to production from my phone seems less likely. And so I don't know if this is a problem with my use case or what, but I'm curious how it works.
well, let
I'm
me
not a fan. Go ahead, dude.
well, I was gonna say, let me give you a use case. Tell me what, or am I being am I being too productive of obsessed here? You have I know you have family who do wrestling. I do as well. And you
Sure.
know
Yep.
at these wrestling meets, it's not always like you're tuned into, they're not always, on the mat. So it's
They
like
take
you're
forever.
waiting.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, yeah.
waiting for hours. And it's like that'd
Yeah.
be a good time to sometimes I'll fire off emails, I'll do some work.
Uh-huh.
I was like, man, if I could actually do a little bit of code here, would I do it? Is that a use case where you would pull out the phone and like start dicking around on this, or would you just not?
Well, so I do. And so what I'll do is I'll have really typically I have a backlog, or I have like up next and later, right? And then I have my cursor background agent settings set with like use this model. Here's typically what I want you to do. And from linear, I'll have it do research. And so,
Uh,
for example, the other day I was on the go, and I had a downtime where like family wasn't like with me, and I pulled up my phone and I wrote a pretty detailed uh, bit of research around like compiling an app in Electron. And here's what I would want. Here's how we should be thinking about it, whatever. And then I had the cursor agent from Linear go and research it and open a PR. And that PR only contained a document, right? The PR, I like to use like /docs/planning/active. And it wrote a new doc that was like, here's how we would compile to Electron. And I read it. And then I gave some feedback in the cursor agent mobile view. And that was good. That was productive. But that's as far as my use case goes.
Are you still gonna use? And I actually be really interested one day to see your linear workflow around this, because that sounds pretty interesting. But I mean, dude, Cursor just automated docs, right? They just released
Um,
this. Is this something that replaces your use case, or
no, this is the same use case.
this goes into linear?
Uh, no, it doesn't go into linear. So to be clear, like we'll have like the workflow would be here's a linear issue,
Hmm.
right? And the linear issue might be a bug, and we
Right.
define what it is, or it might be a feature that we're going to implement. And again, we define what it is. And then what we're doing is saying, hey, I want you to research this. And the output of your work is to create a .md file with your findings and plan to fix it. And then also add those details to linear. So the artifact that I'm producing from linear is exactly what Cursor is now allowing us to do with more detail by creating a plan.
This is pretty interesting. I like this. I mean, this has been a very manual part of my flow. Like it was kind of cool when Claude MD came out. I was like, okay, that's, I guess, helpful, but it still wasn't compartmentalized enough. And I sometimes would like, no, I need a separate doc because this particular feature is just so robust. Um, I'm into this. Claude Code doesn't really do this though, right?
Um, it does, yeah. It just doesn't do it
Outside,
in the
it does
same
it
way.
with Claude.md, correct? Or is it because as far as I'm concerned, I don't see like new docs or markdown documents being spun up.
You have to tell it to create them.
Yes, and that's what I mean is I've been doing that essentially manually. Like, hey, let's
Now Sonnet 4.5, unless you tell it not to, goes fucking nuts and it creates a document for everything.
do you have to set rules and say, hey, like chill out?
Don't. Yes. Yeah. Don't. Yeah. Literally. Otherwise, I don't know if you've been using Sonnet 4.5 a lot from Claude Code, and you give it tasks or features to build. If you go and you actually look at your repo and you look at your cursor, for example, and pull it up and see your file tree, it's probably created all kinds of files. They're all caps, and it's like implement this feature, whatever .md. It creates tons, and so you gotta tell it not to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen some of that. Now, the thing I did is I shared this Lorelight workflow, which has been pretty fun. We have a whole version of Lorelight that is intended to be a mobile app. And I haven't really tackled that yet because it has some of its own kind of considerations.
Yeah.
4.5 creates like 10 docs for each request. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
You got to tell it not to. Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. Um, but knowing Riley, and I've had a conversation with him, and the first version of Vibe Code, I'm with you. I jumped in, tried it out, wasn't super impressed. I know that they're working on a V2 that they're extremely excited about. And since they got funding, they hired some pretty cracked talent. So I'm excited to see that. I think they're looking within the next month or so of a release. And I said, hey, dude, what if we did a mini build wars? And I'll use my nifty little Figma to Claude Code workflow. And he's like, and I'll use Vibe Code. And I was like, hey, that could be cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do this. I challenged him here. He accepted the challenge, and we're gonna do this in person in early December. I'm gonna fly out to San Francisco, and we're gonna build some stuff around the Lorelight app. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of fun.
That is
And
sick. I like that.
so in the spirit of our old build war culture that we had. But all that said, man, this agents thing is cool. We talked about our S tier rankings. We'll get a little bit into some of the tool. We'll play with some of the tools and we'll do some stuff here. But I want. Why don't we rank some stuff, man?
Let's rank it, dude.
Heck
I'm
yeah.
ready.
Yeah, are you?
So human beings that are watching, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna S tier rank all of our tools using what Tommy and I know today, and then we're gonna go and validate it. We're gonna open the tools. We're gonna give it some prompts. We're gonna give every tool the same prompts, and we're actually gonna see how well it performs. And we're gonna show you our tricks and our tips and all of the fancy stuff that we do in our workflows. So if you are somebody that is working in AI, vibe coding, whatever, this is the episode for you.
Hey, let's go. And I'll tell you what, we're gonna do two lists here because I think you and I we may have different opinions. Not uncommon that we have different opinions. You know, my opinions are usually better, but it's all right. Here we go. Who's the first tool?
All right. Shout out to the most popular tool of the past week is Droid
Droid.
by Factory. Droid CLI.
Droid by Factory. I gotta pull their logos here. Okay. We're just gonna grab what I can find here.
Grab away, sir.
So let's do this. Because immediately I have no opinion on Droid because I haven't used it. So Hunter, where do you put Droid?
All right. Now I want to say this. Okay, I am a big fan of Droid. I'm going to go A tier right now.
A tier.
Yes.
Okay. Justification.
My justification is that it's really damn good. It might even be S tier. I want it to be S tier, and I think it will be S tier, and it will be the pinnacle of S tier. However, it's struggling with some MCP calls. So it's having issues with MCPs. It doesn't have as broad of MCP support as like Claude Code does. I've still found Claude Code to be the king of using MCPs. And I think the truth is that if you really want to build great stuff with AI, you need tools, you need MCPs. And that is why Claude Code is absolutely S tier.
And there it is. And I agree with this, man. I am I think we said at the very beginning of the year, we weren't going to plant our flag on any of these tools because it wasn't there yet, and it's too early to tell. I think it's safe to say right now we've got some established land grabs, and Claude Code is I agree, S tier. It's killing
Claude, it is absolutely S tier. That said, like I pay the max and use Claude Code, Codex, and Droid. I use all the models, I use all the tools all day long, literally for like 12 hours a day. So I love them all, but Claude Code is it is the Michael Jordan of AI development.
Air Force Ones.
Sure.
Cursor, my guy.
Well, use this. What is Cursor CLI? I have not used Cursor CLI.
That's actually that's a good point.
I've used Cursor.
Yeah. That's right. Sorry, I'm pulling up Google Images here and I'm getting trolled. Let's look at this. Tell me where you put Cursor in all of this.
I put Cursor in the A tier. Yeah.
A tier?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It may elevate to S tier depending on what they do with their planning feature. Dude, I got to shout out Riolu. The reason I put Cursor in the A tier is because of the changes that Rio's been making in his work. Like their new plan feature, while not as powerful as planning with like Droid or Claude Code, it's beautiful. And it's so easy to understand what Cursor wants to do.
What do you think are some of the most significant wins Cursor has since Rio has joined?
Oh my God, man. I don't use Cursor enough all day, every day to like give you the exact list of everything he's done. So I don't want to like underhype his contributions, but I think the plan feature is one of them. I think the new agent like layout that they have in Cursor is really, really great. The to-do list and a lot of the work they've implemented, like small details around like seeing how much context has been used or how to handle MCPs is really good.
Yeah. I think Cursor's come a long way because if you recall, and I was big on the windsurf train for a hot minute until
yes.
that kind of
windsurf is like the E tier now. It's like
yeah, they are owned by
bye.
Yeah, it's real sad because they had in my opinion a pretty of all the tooling an S tier UX for a good minute.
I agree.
And Cursor I think quickly caught up in that department. And now the concern is, well, Windsurf, you lost half your team, including your CEO. What are you going to be? Now, I mean, they did get acquired by Cognitive Labs. Who acquired
Yeah.
them?
Yeah. Cognitive Labs, who makes Devon. Yeah.
Yeah, and Devon was a shit show.
I've never used it and I don't have plans to. So where does something we've never used and hold like my only opinion on Devon is that I'm not interested in using it. So like where does that go in terms of a ranking?
That's I mean, we probably shouldn't rank it, right?
Okay, so let's leave it off.
Well, in fact, and maybe we should give a call out to the fact that we are in fact not ranking it. So here, we'll put you over here, Devin.
Did Hunter say Michael Jordan and Tommy said Air Force One?
I did.
They're literally called the Jordan Ones. Dan, you got clowned.
Yeah, Air Force Ones. Not the. Ooh, man, I could debate you on this one. Not the best Jordan, my opinion. But anyway,
the Jordan Ones.
They're the most, I think, known.
What's the best Jordan? Are you going to say Jordan 4s?
No.
Okay.
Oh, do you want to do another tier list? We'll get to this.
I kind of do. I'm curious. Because I just want to know your taste in shoes.
I've been digging in. We'll get to our sneaker list near the end of the show here. Let's not derail too far yet. I've got some thoughts though. I've got some
All
thoughts.
right.
But okay, so Windsurf, Claude, Droid, Cursor, Codex, right? So Codex, something you've been talking a lot about.
Yeah.
Give me a second here.
Codex, man. Okay, so I got to say this, okay? Codex as a model frustrates me. Like it's S tier, but it's also F tier because like it'll do stupid things like sandbox itself or not use. Or it'll like fucking start using a ton of Python out of nowhere. Like it does stupid stuff, but it's also like if I'm struggling with a problem with Sonnet 4.5 or I'm struggling with a model with 4.1 Opus or whatever it is. When it's time to bring out the big guns, you know, I'm opening Codex and I'm going to have it fix some problems. But let me say this. I'm going to have it fix problems where I'm not relying on it to use tools. Like I'm not going to rely on it to read from my database. I'm going to say like, this is a sandbox problem and I need you to fix this, knowing what you know about my code base, not using external tools. And Codex comes on like a killer. And so I would give Codex S tier. Okay. I'm going to say Codex is S tier, but it hurts my feelings. Does that make sense? It's like S tier asterisks, you know?
Okay. I'm gonna give the asterisk out here.
Yeah. Asterisk. Yeah. And we would say the same thing about Droid. It's like Droid is A tier, asterisk. It could be S tier if this, you know?
Okay.
And that's how I feel. That's how I feel.
I think that's fair. I have not used Codex yet, and you have me busy this weekend.
Codex is a killer. I'm gonna show you this, okay? I'm going to share my screen real fast as we talk about this. And this is just a teaser of some of what we're going to do in a little bit. We should be able to see warp now. And I'm going to increase the size just a little bit for people. You can see there's two windows going on here. And both of these are Claude code, which is interesting, but they're not always. So I use warp as my main daily driver. I'll command D. I'll open a new window. Typically what my window is going to look like is this. So I'm going to have Droid open on the left. Okay. I'm going to have Claude code open in the middle. So we'll just CC. And then over here, I'm going to have Codex open. This is my typical workflow. And what I'll do, I'll open a new tab over here and I'll use warp. And in warp, I'll typically use Sonnet 4.5. I don't know why it keeps defaulting to GPT-5. And I use warp specifically to manage my Git work trees. Okay. So that's what I'll do is I'll say like, hey, I want you to prune this work tree. We're not using it anymore. I want you to go fetch, the latest from main and open up A, B, C work trees. And then what I'm doing in my main window We have Worktree 1 with Droid, Worktree 2 with Cloud Code, Worktree 3 with Codex. Okay. Now I know this is a lot. Okay. This is a lot, but I'm doing separate things. I'm typically going to be building 3 separate features all at the same time. Or I'll be building like one big feature, refining it in another agent, and then doing like other bug fixes or UI fixes in another agent. And I've learned that I have specific use cases for each of them. Okay. Now, with that said, here's the challenge that I would like to do. Are you ready?
Yep.
We'll do this today. We're just doing the preview now. Okay. I've changed my screen. People can't see. I'm not sharing my whole screen, but I'm just grabbing an artboard from Figma. So I'm just in Figma. I'm selecting the component. I'm doing Command L. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back in here as an example for you, bud. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, let's actually open Raycast Notes to make this really easy. So we'll just give the same prompts to everything. And I'm going to do...
creating a Raycast shortcut?
No. I'm gonna actually open a file here. I just gotta find my Raycast Notes. Here it is. I'm gonna say, okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say it out loud. We're working on implementing a new UI for our instance of CMDK. I want you to review the latest changes we've made in terms of how CMDK is now context aware to the page it's on. I want you to investigate how we've implemented the UI of CMDK. And then using this Figma design, I want you to carefully analyze the design and prepare a plan to implement this UI using your best judgment. Use our design system. Do not hard code anything. Exclusively use globals.css. So there's my prompt. Okay. I'm going to let Whisperflow give that to me. Or not. Are you kidding me? Whisperflow just crapped out on me. There we go. Time for me to leave Whisperflow. Let's try it one more time. Here we go. Here we go. I want you. It's not doing it. Oh, it's because Restream is blocking it. Interesting. I'll type this. But that's what I will do. I'm going to give it that prompt. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come in here. We're going to give it to Droid. We're going to give it to Cloud Code. We're going to give it to Codex. And we're going to see in real time how our top 3 favorite CLI tools contrast against each other. And we're going to see the difference in their UI, which is really, really interesting because like the CLI fucking sucks, dude. You're in terminal. You know what I mean? Droid's UI is 10 times better than Cloud Code's, and Cloud Code's is 10 times better than Codex's. That's kind of how this works. And then if we wanted to go even crazier, we'll open Cursor and give it a plan, and you'll see that Cursor's UI is 10 times better than Droid's. It's crazy.
Now, here's a question. Well, I've got another. I got another tool I want to rank, but are we staying in the realm of AI dev tools, or are we going AI tooling with this chart?
Define what you mean between AI dev tools and AI tooling.
Comet browser.
Ooh, you just want to fucking throw all of our AI tools on this chart?
I mean, maybe.
I like it because I'm giving Comet browser S tier.
I am going to give Comet browser an S tier, and I have withheld being snarky on social media to Josh Miller.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that goes right here. But dude, I'm gonna do it right now. Okay, you ready?
Okay. I'm scared, but ready.
I'm just saying, like, this fucking thing. My good God, dude. Dia browser is so garbage.
I want to know why you say that. I don't use Dia. I abandoned it as soon as I downloaded Comet. I was like, bye Dia.
I'm gonna be kind, and I'm gonna put it in this like middling C tier. But C tier is not getting it done. That's not replacing Arc. I'm using Arc for the show because it's really nice to navigate the sidebar, which the Comet team, I have heard, is working on it. Right? I like the organization for the show. But outside of that, I mean, still bitter about abandoning Arc. bitter about them not addressing. So a lot of cultural stuff. Not happy how they addressed the market when they left Arc to go build Dia, and then they sold the damn thing. You know what I mean?
To Atlassian.
Yeah, dude. Of all product
And
companies,
then Atlassian was like, yo, fuck all of you. We're building Dia for enterprise workers.
yeah. And then Josh recently tweeted earlier this week, hey, and this is what pissed me off. And I'm going to, you know what, we're just going to talk about it for a quick second. He comes out and says the following. Let me pull up the tweet here. Here we go. You know what's nice about this new Restream is you can just replace your screen here real quickly, which is kind of cool. Here we go. And we'll pull up this. So Josh comes out. He says, hey, we're going to be, which tweet was it? It was not far away. Starting today, the browser company is back to shipping weekly updates. Cool. And then he goes on to give a monthly release schedule. October's Dia releases include more powerful memory of your tabs, redesigned Dia skills. So Dia skills are basically prompt templates.
Yeah.
Prompt templates are such a shallow and uninteresting way to use AI in any tool, in my opinion. I get it. It's probably there for your, mom and dad. It's a nice, quick click shortcut.
Sure.
That is not intelligent. Meanwhile, I'm over here in Comet building agentic workflows, right? I'm using Comet to block Twitter bots. That's pretty nifty. I haven't tried this yet, but I thought this was a cool use case. This emoji on the bottom here is giving me anxiety, but
yep,
you know what I mean? Like, so we go back to Josh, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna be releasing weekly updates, Arc's focus mode." And so, wait a second, are we building Dia and then like creating Arc again? What are we doing, man?
dude,
Because
I wish I
Dia
knew.
was supposed to be this. We learned so many lessons building Arc. And you know what? We decided like we went about this all wrong. We're going to start from the ground up. We're going to build Dia because we believe the way you're going to search the internet is changing. And then they just went and built the most uninspiring, nothing new. What the way I'm going to search the internet is with prompt templates? Like what?
Dude, it's really weird. It saddens me because I think that what we were all using Google Chrome probably before Arc, and then Arc came out and you're like, oh my God, the browser's interesting. And then they ditch it and they release Dia. And then you're like, okay, I'm kind of excited about some of these AI features.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, hold on, this doesn't feel much different than Chrome. Like what happened to all this cool shit? And then it's confusing. And now like Comet, like let's be honest, Comet isn't as cool as Arc was when it first came out, but it's 10 times more useful for me. 10 times more useful.
Comet is
like,
one of those things as
dude,
you use it. There's two things. Go ahead and I'll finish my
Can I show you my favorite thing to do in Comet?
Please.
I want to show you my favorite thing to do in Comet. Okay. Forgive me for Inception, everyone. We're going to pull up a new tab. I'm in Comet here, and let me just do this. I'll do Viewery. Let's go to Viewery, clothing, and we'll go buy something. Okay. Let's I don't know. Let's see the latest in men. Okay, this is a cool sweater. We're gonna buy this sweater. All right. And we're gonna buy a large, whatever, add to bag. Cool. Easy. I got some stuff in here. Let me go to my view bag and check out. 478. That's too much. Let me option A and find me discount codes and try them until you find one that works. I'll just tell it to do that. And what it's going to do is insane. It literally will go, it'll search the internet for discount codes. It'll take control of my fucking browser right here. Yeah. And it will literally try these until it finds one. And I do this on every site now. And it is the best. Like, so this stupid browser, because of this one feature, saves me 20% across the board of all my spending typically, because it's going to go find me discount codes. Dude, like that's just, you're talking about how do you win a user for life? Save me money, make me or save me money.
Yeah, and it's so true, man. And what I'll say is, and Ivan makes a point here. He says S tier for coupon, gathering, F tier for vulnerabilities. Perplexity did come out and address some of those prompt injection vulnerabilities. From my understanding, most of the major ones, which I have kind of limited visibility on, but they did. They're working with some groups, and from my understanding, they've patched most of those. I don't know if all of them have been patched yet.
A lot of them have been patched, but like this is the world we're going to live in, is like the new social engineering or social hacking is going to be prompt injection. And it's on you as a responsible, like, protector or arbiter of your own information to not give AI access to all of your information. Like you still got to segment stuff,
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Now, don't be like me and let Codex run dangerously and bypass approvals in Sandbox. Don't do that. Which I just did, because we're going to have to show that soon. So
I want to ask you a question now. Another tool that's still in my kit here, man. And it's funny because I feel like Granola should be getting replaced one day by one of these tools.
I'm going to go B tier. Personally, for me, Granola, I'm going to B tier it. Yeah, because like everybody's building their own version of Granola. And
but no one's doing it better yet.
No one's doing it better. But can I ask you a question?
What's that?
How often do you go into your Granola notes and take action on them?
The post meetings, so not often.
There you go.
But it does a better. I mean, it's like, because there's no use case yet where, unless I'm like, I've exported these. So I've played with workflows where I export it to Notion, which is what I still use a lot. Or I'll take transcripts and, do things with them inside of Claude or ChatGPT. But I can jump into Granola and ask it to pull insights across, for example, 30 different interviews I've conducted for our State of Play podcast. And it will cross-reference all of those and pull really interesting related insights. It's like, you spoke with so-and-so from the Google team about this, which related to Figma about this.
That's cool.
I find that kind of interesting.
That's really cool.
But that's obviously a very specific use case. I'm recording our live stream right now, and I'm going to play with that a little bit. So like there's, and so when I pull that information from Granola, I've found that it's quite good at insight finding.
That's cool.
Someone said too that if you use Granola's coaching, and I haven't done this, I don't know if you have, that you can have it like coach you on how you conduct meetings and how you speak through your history. And from my understanding, there were a couple of tweets from some prominent folks on the internet. It's really good.
Interesting. I like that. So my gripe with Granola is that it is the best, but it feels like a place where information gets captured and just like disappears.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for what they're going to be doing in the future and how they're going to help you surface information, I'm going
to give it an asterisk because in this case,
let's just move it up to A tier. Let's move it up to A tier.
You know what? I appreciate your compromise, Hunter. I appreciate your compromise.
Anything for you.
All right. Well, like, since we're tooling here and it is AI related because there's a heavy emphasis on it, this is what we're going to do. Okay.
Oh boy.
This is going to be a hot one. I know it is. Where do you put Notion? I don't think, are you still messing with Notion? I know you're building essentially a replacement for what Notion does for you, right? I just opened the screen and realized he left. All right. Well, then this is what I think until we get back. Friend pendant F tier. Chat clip that. Yeah, I agree with that.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
What tell me. Just tell me. Because I know that you are
I don't use Notion. I don't use Notion.
You did for a moment? Oh, wait, no, you didn't, because I was trying to get you on it at one point.
I used Notion for years, but it's too complicated, dude. Like,
It's not that complicated.
I don't like it.
It's a skill issue. Listen, I have to give Notion an A tier right now.
Go
But
ahead,
but
dude.
but this is the problem. This is the problem. Okay. Notion's AI, I don't use Notion's AI, right? I just can't.
Interesting.
I can't. I am integrating Notion with my preferred AI tools, Claude Code, Notion MCP. I'm using it as a reference. So, in that case, it's like this is a tool of AI kind of productivity, I guess, right? We're really leaning into the AI of it all. On that, I would have to really demote Notion quite a bit if like it was simply on its merits with AI,
Oh shit!
you know? But as a tool overall, it's A. So I'm actually gonna demote it because this is kind of an AI specific list. Uh, and I'm gonna put an asterisk because of that note. Notion is A tier for sure. I agree. Notion's like I run my life out of Notion right now. And if the feedback is correct on Hunter's, you know, stealthy project, maybe that changes one day. They're trying to do everything but pretty.
Um,
That's what Ivan says here. He says they're trying to do everything but pretty.
yeah, I don't. I definitely what we've built is not a replacement for Notion, at all. It's if you're using Notion in a way to like hack together a project management solution and you
Uh-huh.
work with customers, then yes, what we've built, I would argue, is much better. But it's definitely not. It's not synonymous with Notion.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Well, one of these days we'll get a demo of it. Will be turtly enough for the Turtle Club. That day is not going to be today. Um, Now I have to ask you now. You were the straw that broke the camel's back for me for Linear.
Ooh, okay.
And I started using that at the beginning of this year for our team, and I like it. I like it a lot. That is a tool that I think tries to offer a little too much um, customization. Like there are moments where I'm just like, it's easy to get in the trap of over organizing your tasks, and
Is that a linear problem or a user problem?
it's a user problem. But I have probably some ADHD isms in there where I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably do this. I should probably, and then I gotta like scale it back a little bit because it makes me feel crappy when I see an interface with a bunch of things that I'm not using.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
there are some things you can hide. You're like, I don't have to expose that. But there are some things where I'm like, I'm just not making use of that, and it's like an empty placeholder state, and I hate it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I would personally, for me, I'm going to give linear A tier.
Okay.
Um, what keeps it from being S tier for me is kind of what you said. I think there's a lot there that I don't use. Their team, I would give like S tier, right? Like their team is cracked. Their devotion to quality is off the charts. They're kind of like the original Perplexity in that sense of like just insanely obsessive with quality. Um, yeah, I would say that there's a lot of stuff that like breaks my heart about linear. So I give it an A.
You give it an A?
Yeah.
I'll stick with that. I do like linear a lot. It is a part of my regular stack here. So I'll hold on to that. Now, tell me, uh, your stack is pretty light. Like your productivity stack is
Mhm.
pretty light. I think we've covered most of what you use here, have we not?
Um, Raycast.
Oh, good call. All right. I have opinions on this. I know you're a Raycast super user. Okay.
I would
And
give Raycast like A tier.
yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Mm.
And it's mainly, you know why? For like, and I'm gonna give him the A tier for you, Hunter. All right. I'm gonna
No, no,
give
no,
him
no, no, no. You've given me too many freebies. Like, where are you putting Raycast?
So Raycast is a I'm not a powered user is the problem. So that's the issue is it's a glorified spotlight for me, which I
Mhm.
use day in and day out. I, I hate the interfacing of it. I want
Mm.
to be able to toggle up all of the tools we're talking about here, and the only way I can do that is through their terrible little input field interface. You know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about?
Mhm. Mhm. I
And
don't use it. I don't use it at all.
I don't like that, and so it makes me feel quite a bit limited because of that, but I think you use it by just, like, you go in and you create all the invisible keyboard shortcuts, and that's essentially the interface for you, right?
Well, yes and no. So I use it in 3 ways. The first is that, yeah, it's my spotlight replacement for sure, but that's like arbitrary. Raycast has a wonderful setting to where you can pick a key and turn that key into your hyper key, right? And so for me, it's my caps lock on my left. Um,
Mhm.
so if I tap and hold caps lock, it's activated a hyper key, and I can just pick another letter from my keyboard to open an app. So for example, if I just touch caps lock and then I hit M, I've opened music, right? Caps lock C is comment, etc. And so that because actually programming and setting up a hyperkey on a Mac is kind of a pain in the ass. And Raycast makes it really, really easy. So that's the first thing. The second is that their window management is off the charts. I could just predefine like how I want to do window management and then just quick shortcut, it does it. That's awesome.
You mean
Um,
like almost like Moom? Like you can kinda just like, I want 4, I want 3
yeah, yeah,
columns.
yeah. But
Yeah.
but even more specific of like, hey, I'm gonna hit this keyboard shortcut and um I want warp over here, cursor over here, I want Figma right there, I want my browser right here, and it just does it.
That's kinda nice. This is why I'm willing to give this to you because I am aware that I am underutilizing the true strengths of Raycast. I use a
Yeah.
couple keyboard shortcuts, and I use a lot of the search functionality, and that's about it. That's not really using Raycast, I guess, if we're honest.
I'm trying to think like what else needs to get like what else is in the workflow, but I think we've kind of covered it all. What
Well,
do you have that's not on this list?
I just wanna get you in trouble for a second here. Tools that we know we've kind of abandoned a little bit,
Mhm.
right? Things we have experience with. Where are you putting Bolt?
Mm, I'd probably put Bolt in B tier.
Okay. It's your justification.
It's my favorite of the category of apps that it's in. But I find for the work that I do or my needs, that category of apps doesn't meet my needs.
Yeah. I find that the argument that I would make for bolts early on was like, this is not the tool to build a robust production application. It is, however, a fantastic alternative for designers or anyone trying to prototype an idea before taking it to that next place. It's kind of like it's
100%.
essentially it's a prototyping tool. And in that case, if you compare Bolts as a prototyping tool to something like Create with Play or just Play, um, it serves a pretty unique category, and I thought I thought it's good, but it's still very limited in designer control or user control. They've gotten better. That I think they make it easy now, or it's free to spin up databases. They do all the things that I think is good for like a brand new person trying to do this.
Yeah, I think that's great. The way I look at it is like if you're passionate about building something, if there's an idea that you have and you're like, I want to build this thing, Bolt for sure is a good place to start.
Okay.
But you could get locked in, right? And so I think if you're gonna truly build something like Lorelight, for example, right? You're
Mhm.
building this and you're like, okay, I'm gonna build campaigns and music and lighting for my Philips Hue lights. I'm gonna kind of compile all these things, and I need them to automatically take me on this journey as I'm going through my campaign. I assume that's the gist of Lorelight. Once you build all that, you've integrated a ton of services. You're doing a lot of read and write to your database.
Mhm.
You're trying to reuse components from your design system, et cetera. To really make progress, to make that something you enjoy using, you have to understand how it works, right? You need to understand, like, this is the component I'm using on this page. It has this kind of an API call, or like this is how we're doing authentication, like whatever it is. If a page is loading slowly, you need to understand, oh, this page loads slowly because it's indexing and doing a join in the database and it has this materialized view, whatever. Bolt, Lovable, V0, they obfuscate all of that, right? And I think by using those tools, you'll make a little bit of progress, but you probably won't learn enough about what it is you're doing and how it's working. And that's why I prefer the CLI based tools or cursors,
Yeah.
because I think if you really stick with it, because building anything of significance is going to take a few months, right? And if you're in there with it for months, I think you'll kind of learn to code a little bit. You'll learn a little bit more of the architecture when it's more exposed. I would put Lovable lower.
Really?
Personally. Yeah.
I have, so this is what's hard is I don't think you and I have probably touched Lovable or Bolt or and listen, and we'll talk about some of the other tools in similar categories in just a second, but in a few months at least, since really we talked about them on this stream, I think was the last time we really meaningfully used them. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, that's safe to say.
Yeah, and I've paid attention tangentially to some of their updates, which I can reason what those features are, but haven't used them. So it's a little dated for us to say this, but I will say there was a moment where Lovable came strong with the UX. They kind of did the windsurf thing. I thought Bolt was really smart in how they did some of the functionality. I thought Lovable was actually the sneaky better UX. And then I thought Bolt kind of elevated itself. Now that's 3 months old information, 3-4 months old information. And so I think there's something to say here, because really we probably should do something like this. Move this here. This can probably hang because I do think we recently used Bolt at least enough to speak to that.
Yep.
And then we have a lot of other companies. I'm not going to pull all the logos, but what this makes me realize is there's probably a video or a live, or there's something in the near future before this year ends where we look at the state of a lot of the tooling that is kind of in design and dev, kind of in that in between. That's, you got Subframe, you have Tempo Labs. I know Samraj is here in the chat, or was. We have a number of tools that are coming out or that have come out, and then even on the design side where there's AI, Paper, and we talked a little bit about Paper last week. Magic Path, Magic Patterns. There's probably a video in here somewhere.
Magic Patterns?
Magic Patterns, which is
that a
actually
Magic Path ripoff?
No, Magic Patterns has actually been around, and it started as a way to try and turn. Oh, you have a design system. It was kind of the first to the enterprise. What's up, Samraj? It was trying to turn enterprise use cases where you already have a design system and make it very easy to prompt designs out of your existing design system. So they did a really, to their credit, they did a really good job of setting up guardrails early for those use cases. And then they ended up like pivoting and making it more robust. I think Magic Patterns, as much as I don't love the name, I actually think they're a sneaky, interesting use case for what they're trying to solve. I think they do it better, last I saw, than a lot of other folks.
I feel that. Okay.
So anyway, all this to say, there's definitely like a where are they now type of comparison maybe needed. And it's
I
like,
think we should do that at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think
because dude, between now and December is like 10 years in AI.
It's so much. It's like I saw a poll. Someone was asking, in the next 5 years, do you think we'll advance more than we have in the last 125 years?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah, I think healthcare, bio. I think we're going to see a lot of really interesting stuff there too.
I think it's going to be really weird. One thought that just occurred to me real quick before we move on from our ranking, we forgot something very important. We forgot Warp.
Well, so I was going to ask you about terminals here. Now, I've installed Warp. I use iTerm because it's very simple. It's what I've used forever, ZSH inside of it. Yeah, where do you put Warp?
Absolutely S tier.
And so why? Because I asked you, I texted you the other day. I said, all right, like,
Mhm.
you know, put me on game with how to use Warp properly because Warp has a lot of interesting features.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it sounded like you were making use of a few of them.
The ones I make use of
Is this the Warp
are
logo?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
are so good that it instantly earns S tier.
Okay. Tell me what those ones are.
Well, so the first thing is multi panes in one view for your
Uh-huh.
terminal. So the ability to run like Droid, Cloud Code, and Codex side by side.
Right.
The second is just the keyboard shortcuts between windows, which is huge. I know
Yep.
it's so simple, but it's terminal, and terminals aren't great. They make that really easy. The third is Warp's coding. Like Warp is actually among the highest of terminal bench um, for coding models. But the other thing is like I don't have every terminal command in the world memorized, and the fact that I can just tell Warp to do something,
You
like,
don't.
hey, I need to do this terminal command thing, whatever, and it's just like got you, and it does it. Huge. So
Okay.
the fact that I never have to Google like what's this terminal command again, or like how do I do this, and Warp just does it is fucking massive.
Now, is Warp getting into the generative code, that part of the game as well?
They
I
have a,
thought.
they have their own model. Yeah, I'm
Oh, they
pretty sure they
do.
do. I think so.
Okay. Um, Interesting. All right. I thought I saw something recently, some new feature. I'm still trying to keep up with them. So, all right, that's fair. And I need to set that up. I opened it up, I looked at it, and I go, okay, I need to configure this. And I was kind of in build mode. I didn't want to dick around with it. Speaking of build mode, um, why don't we build something, man? Let's see what we
Dude,
got going
I'm
on.
in. And in.
So this is our S tier. We're gonna hold on to this. I'm gonna save this. We're gonna revisit this at some point in the future. But I like this. I like where this is at. We were very liberal with our top heavy, but to be fair, what we talked about were tools that we kind of use, and I guess we're not going to use fucking DEF tier tools, right? Um, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
Okay.
Well, okay, so let's do it. So we can pick a prompt to build, but I already have one queued up because I was going to do this anyways. And so
Okay.
my thinking was like, look, we're just going to show the difference between our favorite CLIs real quick and why we've ranked them, and then we'll just judge the output. Okay. Um, what I'm going to do is the plan mode. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen here, and we will do this. We'll share entire screen. We'll share this screen. All right, let's go. All right. So we're going to open plan mode in Droid. We're just going to shift tab our way over there, and we're going to paste this in. Let it do its thing. We're going to open plan mode in Cloud Code. We're just going to paste this in. And then we're going to do it in Codex. But you'll notice that there's no plan. Shift tab does nothing in Codex. Codex doesn't have a plan mode. So I'm going to paste it. It's going to show me the full thing I pasted where the other two didn't. And I'm going to say, don't alter any code. Just create a plan and share it with me. All right. Now, I also want to share this. All of these are configured with the exact same MCPs. Okay. So they all have access to the same stuff, configured the exact same way. So any differences you see of like its ability to call tools is that particular agent, not the way it's configured.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll just kind of let them do their thing. So we can see Droid over here pulling out the exact structure of the node from Figma.
You gave each of these the same prompt. Is that what you just said?
I copy pasted. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they all have the exact same prompt. These two are in plan mode. This one I told it to plan. Now, if we wanted to get real crazy, what we would do is we would open up cursor as well. So let me pull cursor over here. Just drop that in. Oops. Put that right there. And we'll open cursor. Let me blow this up a little bit. All right. Now, check this out. So in cursor, let me just close all these. And what we'll do, we'll go shift tab to plan, and we'll give it the same prompt. Okay. We're using 4.1 Opus here. I'm using the Frontier model for all of these. That's another thing I should say. So they're all using Droid and Cloud Code are using, what are they using? GPT-5 Codex and Droid. This one's Sonnet 4.5. This one obviously is GPT-5 Codex. All right, so here we go.
Bang.
Claude Code got to the plan the fastest. Codex was the second fastest. So plan before we touch on code. So this is the plan that Codex shares with me. This doesn't fucking tell me much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what I would have to do here is I'd have to say, hey, actually go create a full detailed implementation plan in my docs, whereas Claude Code gives it to me. So here we go. We got icon migration, visual design updates, command registry enhancement, whatever. So we have this whole plan, tells me the files it's going to modify and what its steps are. Cool. So that's that. Now let's go see what Cursor's doing. Flashbang again. This is, Rio created this theme in Cursor, and I love it. Because everything else is dark mode, and this thing is just like, pow!
I actually judge you so much for using this theme.
Dude, no, I was using like Tokyo Night or whatever it is.
You don't use this in bed at night. You're so full of shit.
No, I'm saying I was using, hold on.
But I'm saying this theme, this is not your daily, like every day and night. At nighttime, you're using this theme.
At nighttime, I use this.
Okay. Thank God.
But I don't use Cursor at night, dude. I don't snuggle up with Cursor. I snuggle up with fucking Claude Code.
When the brain's turned off?
Hell yeah, dude. You know what I'm saying? Well, here, we'll use this to not flashbang the audience. But
okay.
So we'll let Cursor plan. The plan that Cursor produces is going to be good. It's going to be thorough. It's going to be beautiful, though. So we'll see. Now look at this. Our boy Droid, he's still working. He's still looking. He's analyzing tokens. He's thinking about design systems and command palettes. My guy is thorough. Okay. So he's going to take the longest. He's already at 4 minutes of thinking about this. So let's see what Cursor's doing. Oh, look at this. Now here's the issue. I said, watch this. Cursor settings. Guess what? Figma is enabled. Plan mode. Since I can't directly fetch Figma design through the MCP tools,
yeah,
right? So it's useless to me. It's useless.
I occasionally run into that with Claude Code too, by the way.
That's an issue with Claude Code, right? Where you just reset. You just quit and reopen it and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But this is an issue. So we got these going. So we're going to give a little bit longer for our boy Droid here. Now,
hey, pause. While you do that, there's a comment here. I want you to address this. Adrian says this is not design, this is engineering.
That's stupid.
Do you agree with this comment?
No.
I don't agree with this comment at all. Lines on screen equal engineering. Incorrect. That is an incorrect statement.
No, I disagree. Look, to think that design is only the work that you do in Figma, I think is really dumb, right? Like that is the conceptualization of something, but there is a long journey that work has to go through before it actually gets to the user and they actually get to use it, right? And so I think the whole concept that design is only what we do in an interface for Figma or whatever is like, it's just circle jerk mentality, right? I think that the art of saying, here's what we've conceptualized. Now I actually have to think about how do I implement this? How does the user interact with it? How do I do fun stuff to make it really fast or responsive? All of that is part of the design process as well. I am using engineering to get there, but it's still design. It's just a different toolkit.
It's really about like my frame of mind at the time. And I mentioned this in a video I made, which was, I took my design from Figma over to, and we'll get back into yours in just a second. I took it from Figma over to Claude. And then I spent another, let's call it 10, 15 hours continuing to tweak and evolve interaction patterns and build out some different things. And I considered most of those 10 hours, most of them, design work. And it was inside of the command line interface and occasionally the editor. I used to quote unquote design in the editor way back when I was doing front end work, but that was design work. And so that's an interesting, I just wanted to call that out because I see people say this, they see a terminal, they see some code, they immediately go, oh, we're engineering. And it's like, hold on, not necessarily.
For sure. I completely agree. Clearly, I mean, Dude, so Droid is still planning. This is incredible. So we're just gonna, I don't know what we're gonna do while we wait. We're just gonna chill out, drink some Diet Coke, Coke Zero, whatever you're into.
Diet Coke.
Cursor fucked us because it can't use the MCP. Granted, if I was to ask it to plan something that doesn't require fetching an MCP, it's great. And maybe we should do that anyways. What should we do? Let's stop. Let's go alter our plan here. I don't have any great thoughts. Oh, I do. I have something. Here we go.
You never have good thoughts.
I know. Thoroughly analyze our code base and do a web search to check the latest Electron docs and create a plan to compile our app as an Electron app on macOS. There we go. Motherfucker.
I'm about to move this off of the A tier here.
Whisper?
Oh, is Whisper's pooping?
Whisper. Well, it's because
we didn't rank Whisper, by the way.
Oh, it's S tier. It's S tier. It's S tier. It's S tier. The issue. So here's the issue. Okay. Whisper actually handles input detection like dog shit, right? So like if I'm on my laptop, it is. If I'm on my laptop, it's easiest for me to use the microphones that are built into the laptop. That way it doesn't mess up the audio source if I'm listening to music. So I can talk while listening to music. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But when I connect my laptop to my microphone, it doesn't auto switch over to that microphone. It stays on the laptop, even though the laptop's closed. Mm-hmm. And create a plan to compile the app as an Electron app on macOS. Check the latest Electron docs. Okay, so we'll just do this. We'll just kind of let it go. Do this, whatever. 102.19 on-demand usage. Fuck me, dude. Here's the thing that pisses me off, dude. OpenAI did that whole thing of like awards for token usage, and I didn't get one. I need Anthropic to do it because I probably use 1 billion tokens a month.
I've not. This makes me feel like I need to build more because I use most of the day. I am like either actively or occasionally revisiting my terminal and continuing to give it something to do while doing whatever else I'm doing. Most of the day, I still have not hit limits in Claude Code. And I'm like,
interesting. Okay,
where are these limits that everyone's hitting? I mean, I'll hit like context windows that get annoying, and I'll reset.
You haven't hit like an Opus limit?
I think there was one day, like last month, where I did.
It's hard, but you can hit the Sonnet 4.5 limit. It's just very difficult. But the Opus limit you can hit daily, like daily. Okay, so Droid finished its plan as well. Okay, it asked me some questions here, right? Nobody else did. Same prompt. It asked some questions. It also gave me a more clear breakdown of like what is working today and like what's wrong with it compared to what I'm asking for, right? So if I was to say like there's more text here in Claude Code, right? But I would argue that the plan over here is a little bit more robust.
Did these generate any files within the directories? The directory you're working from? No, this is all kind of localized.
These are in context. Yeah. Which is pros and cons with that, but these are in context. So I could choose which one to go with. Now, if I really wanted to get crazy and test this, I would create a work tree and I'd do them both at the same time. But I'm not going to do that right now.
Work trees are interesting, and that's a thing I haven't started doing.
So that was going to be my other thing with our boy Warp here. I'll just Command 2 and go over here. I could say, I could tell it now. I could say, hey, will you prune our work trees and then open a new one for me that's utilizing main, and it'll just go do it, right? And that's why Warp is awesome.
Yeah, it starts to get into this place where I see how you work with, you'll have Codex running, you'll have Claude Code running, and you'll probably have them doing different tasks. How do you protect against? So right now we're all in context, and this is great, and I want your synthesis on how you feel these performed. But how do you prevent them from stepping on each other while they're both operating on the
Work
same
trees.
work trees is the way to do that. So what work trees provides like a guardrail for that? A
No.
different branches?
Okay. So they're clones, right? So like if I open a branch, so if I'm using GitHub Desktop or
Uh-huh.
GitHub CLI, whatever, and I open a branch, I can't work with one branch in this agent window and another branch in this agent window. They auto switch if you've ever noticed that because GitHub Desktop is keeping you on the latest changes, right? So it's just using one branch. So if you're working on two things simultaneously from the same branch, you're creating a clusterfuck, right?
Mm,
So the way that you get around that, what you want to do is use work trees. Work trees are carbon copy clones to where I have my main repository, okay, and it's got all my latest changes. And I say, okay, now that we've done the latest PR, okay, I have two things I want to work on. I want to work on I don't know, I want to work on the mobile view for this particular page, and I want to work on the light control UI for this for my Philips Hue lights for lower light, right? I would have it create two work trees. And so one work tree would be like UI refresh, the other would be like, lighting enhancements.
mhm.
And I can then CD, so I can go into each directory separately and have one agent in one folder, one agent in another folder, and I can work. And so the way it would be is like in your GitHub folder where your projects are, you'd have like Lore Light as your main repo,
Yeah.
and then you would have something like Lore Light dash WT, so Lore Light dash worktree, right? And then you would go into there, and inside of that, you'd have UI enhancements, lighting enhancemants, or whatever,
So
right?
there's a sort of like merging that happens after the fact once I'm ready. It's
Mhm.
very Git like then.
It is Git.
It
Yeah,
is
it's a
Git.
Git work tree. Yeah, yeah. You're going to open a PR for that work tree. That's what you're going to do.
Got it. Got it. I
Yeah.
have not used work trees before, so that's interesting. I'll have to try
So
that.
so most people don't. That's where you get into like real engineer shit.
Yeah.
Most people don't. The other thing is that work trees do not work with the GitHub desktop
That's
app.
what you were saying. And so like the visualization of it is
You
kind
can't
of
do.
yeah.
It's pure command line, which is why warp is S tier.
Got it. Okay, I like that. Oh man, I love your workflows. I would pay for your course, but I'm just going to steal all your knowledge because I have granola running, and I'm going to create my own course. I'm going to just become a course boy and pretend like I know what I'm doing. Uh, there is
I
one
like it.
thing I want to call out real quick, by the way. There is one tool, and I'm going to give him love. Okay, I am going to give him love. Those are Framer guys here. All right, and I am going to put a S tier. Now, I want to be very clear about Framer. A couple of things. Very specific use cases I use Framer for personally. I do all of my designing and building of UX tools, every new initiative we launch. I've considered building UX tools inside of Claude Code and doing a bunch of stuff, but there are just some nice to haves, especially with like a content website that I really like. And I've come to appreciate Framer even more so with a lot of their features. They just did a whole pricing update recently. Um, some good, some things that some people are being critical of. But they have their design pages, so they are now a freeform design tool when you need it to be. What I would love
Mhm.
to see, because they do have the AI workshop built into it, which I've made use of in the past. Their wireframer tool now allows you to like scaffold up blog pages, which is also great. But I still would love to see some improvements on the CMS side. I still would love to see now that I'm finding myself with a freeform tool like Figma, moving that over to Claude Code, I wonder if there's thoughts about how Framer starts to integrate with other AI tools. Because Framer is
Interesting.
kind of a closed environment. So I'm interested to see where they go after that round of funding. But those are my thoughts on Framer tool. Lee
Dude,
Black in here. Hey Lee, good to see you. He says 100%.
dude, I love Framer. I love the Framer team. We don't use it.
You guys don't use it for any agency work, do you?
No, man,
No.
we don't. Which makes me sad. It's not because there's a tool that we're choosing over it. We just don't use it.
You're
Like,
you're not using any of the competitors of Framer either.
we have a few things that are Webflow because they're like we inherited them.
Uh-huh.
I think if we were to start from scratch, it depends on what we're doing. If we were to start from scratch, we'd probably use Framer, but we typically end up just coding it.
Right.
Like
That's
we've gotten good enough to where we can design it and scaffold the UI and then come in and like actually not use AI, but actually like redo a lot of the front end styling ourselves. And like the off menu site, for example, is custom.
yeah. I've just tried to, by the way, while we were doing this, I tried to open up OpenAI, because the big news is that Figma has integrated with OpenAI, from FigJam to adding themselves to the marketplace. Well, I tried a FigJam workflow, and I don't know how to use this apparently because I asked it. I said, "Hey, using FigJam, which was my understanding, create the following," and then it would prompt you to kind of connect that up.
Wait, did it do it?
No, it created like
Oh,
at first it did it with Notion. So I wonder maybe I have to go in and actually do some like I don't know. So I was going to try to play with it live, but I think there's a little bit of configuration that needs to happen. But no cigar on that yet. So I am curious. I would love to see kind of this round trip experience where I can talk to Figma and then come back and talk to code and kind of do this back and forth. Riley in here asked, I can get them to complete complex tasks, but I struggle with the visual design polish. And this is where I'm kind of telling you guys, do yourselves a favor just for the sake of kind of exploring this, all right? Maybe you download, like I think this for anyone who has like a hard time seeing this in action, right? And maybe you don't want to just go and spend the time designing right away. Go download a Shad CN UI kit. Now some of these are paid, the good ones are paid. And grab the components and just scaffold up a few wireframes or a few quick prototype or mock-ups rather. And then grab it with the MCP, right? You can come in here, and I kind of showed this last week. You enable the MCP server, it gives you your local server. I come in here, I'll grab a link, and then I'll pop up Claude Code and I'll say, hey, I'll give it my prompt, and then I will give it the link and tell it to use Figma MCP. And it will build almost precisely what that design is telling it to build. That has been my experience, and that's a pretty nifty thing. And so, but then you go a step further and you go, oh, but I got to use the Shad CN UI kit, and the answer is no, you don't. But I want to use that as like a way for people to understand, like that's how quickly this can work. You can just come over and actually start scaffolding up your own designs, right? Sebastian Cornelius gave us this great foundation that I'm building on top of, and it'll still come in and do the exact same thing. So the visual polish problem existed not long ago, and I don't really feel like it's that big of a problem anymore. What do you think?
I'm with you. I struggle to say it's a problem. I would definitely say it's a frustration, right? But here's the truth that I want to get at. One is that some models are better at UI than others. Some tools are better at UI than others. You want to know what I think is really great at UI? Sonnet 4.5 inside of Cursor. Opening Cursor, taking screenshots, having Cursor do the UI work. Okay. Now, here's why I say that. I think Cursor is pretty good at it. It's pretty good at getting things correct. Sonnet 4.5, obviously powering that. But Tailwind V4 is not that fucking hard. So when you're literally designing a screen or a component or whatever it is, just open it up and do a little research, understand how Tailwind works. What does PY-8 mean, right?
Right.
Just understand the basics of it.
Yeah.
And go in there and just fine tune alongside the AI, and you're going to get exactly what you want.
It's so true. This is such a good point. So there's two things to call out. The first, he said, Klaus says here, in the prompt, do you tell it which dependencies to use? Well, yes, you would. And so both in the prompt, you may remind it, hey, we're using Tailwind and ChadCN. If you have a proper PRD or a technical document that you're starting from, it'll essentially tell it that. You may have to remind it occasionally. So yes, at some point in the process, you do want to let it know which dependencies you're using. That's
Yeah.
correct. But then to your point, the screenshot workflow, and I found myself doing this. I'll have it pull in the design details. So what I'm not doing, and I'm not saying you can't do this, but what I'm not doing, I did this 2 times actually, but I'm not doing it a lot, is I'm not coming back into Figma, tweaking some stuff, and then relinking and saying, hey, here's the updated. But you could. And like I said, I did do that 2 times, but I'm not doing it frequently. Instead, what I'm doing is if something's not accurate, so in like a QA type of way, I'll take a screenshot of what we've created in code and I'll remind it of the link in the Figma MCP of that it needs to refer to. And I'll say, compare these two and notice what's wrong. And I'll tell it specifically what's wrong. And if you've told it to create a design system, a technical design system with the demo page, then you can go one step further and say, the component that this should be is this component that you created here in our design system. And that might sound like a lot. It's really not. The tedious part is just having to go grab your screenshot and copy paste it. And like that's the most tedious part of this, which you can also better automate. I'm finding that to be so much more effective lately. But to your and lastly to your point about learning Tailwind, learning the utility classes, learning how to use it, it's not hard. And if you're allergic to documentation, you really shouldn't be. But if you are, then just go fucking ask Perplexity
Ask
or
Perplexity.
ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, give me a cheat sheet. I'm trying to create a thing. Like, what are some of the utility classes I should be considering here? Or how does Tailwind handle padding and box modeling? And it'll give you like a table, and it'll just tell you the cheat sheet. And like,
Yep.
boom, you've learned something. You know.
We didn't rank Perplexity, Open, ChatGPT, and Claude. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, we sure didn't. Perplexity's a tough one because they're getting into so much. Perplexity to me, do you use Perplexity?
Okay. Perplexity is easy S tier.
You were not sold on Perplexity at the beginning of the year.
Well, what I said in the beginning of the year, my thing was like Perplexity definitely replaces Google for me, right? But I'm not using Perplexity for areas where I would use ChatGPT, which still is true. It's still true. But now that I use Comet and the default is to search with Perplexity instead of Google,
right?
Like I use Perplexity all day, every day. I still like if I need to reason or ask real questions, I'm still going to ChatGPT. Which is funny because like I never use Claude except for Claude Code.
I use Claude for creative writing and code. I use ChatGPT sometimes for creative writing, but then I go back to Claude Code because I kind of prefer it. I use ChatGPT if I need more strategic advice, I think. And then I use Perplexity for like researching topics. And I find that to be quite I'm quite pleased. I would put Perplexity as S tier as well.
For research.
Yeah, and when I say research, yeah, I mean it could be anything from like a consumer-based piece of research to something strategic for the business. Yeah,
I'm building something right now that I hope to release soon that uses Perplexity Search API, and it's fucking cool. It's really cool. Yeah,
is their API pretty nice?
It's very nice.
Yeah, I like that. I like that they've created that. They're doing so much, man. It's crazy. Well, we're getting to the end here. This is what I like, man, is I like talking about the latest and greatest, helping us build. And I like being able to talk about this stuff with a fellow builder who's really using it. And we're both doing different things with these tools. That's kind of what this Friday is going to be. It's going to be a lot of this. We'll probably bring people on occasionally who are also building to see how they're building. So expect that. This is design. This is build related. Going to be a lot of this stuff, man. Happy to be back doing it.
Likewise, dude. Happy to nerd out with you fine people on Fridays. This is our S tier list. We're going to revisit it at the end of the year. We're going to show you people some more tips and tricks next week. Here's my struggle, and I want to say this out loud, is like I'm so just like locked in and in it every day that I'm not like, I'm not,
You're not
searching the web.
you're not exploring right now.
I'm not
You've
exploring.
found your daily
I'm just
drivers, and
making it. Yeah.
you are wear and tearing those things to death.
But I'm building something to help me and others explore. And it's beautiful. And it's the future of today in design.
Okay.
Oh, that's my tease. Is we asked ourselves, what if a newsletter wasn't a newsletter? What if your newsletter could be whatever you wanted it to be?
What if me as the author or me as the consumer?
You as the consumer. What if your newsletter could be whatever you wanted it to be?
What if I could just customize one newsletter of all the things I want to get in my inbox each week? That's interesting, actually. That's like what if I could just curate one source of everything I want to curate? Yeah.
Related to tech and design and AI.
Okay.
Not everything. Just within our industry.
So I can't pull
our world.
My D&D news. What's the latest on the Critical Role campaign 4, which airs Thursdays, just started. I'm gonna watch it.
Not right now. No. Because that would be too much, man. That's where you're getting into like, is this a news reader?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we got something cool, dude. It's pretty fucking cool.
Do you know if Perplexity is better at research than Claude Opus 4.1 in the app? Deep research toggled on. I mean, this is the thing.
Just research with Opus 4.1 and Perplexity.
Well, yeah, so I say yes, it is, because you can turn Opus 4.1 on in Perplexity, like he said, and I just think Perplexity has built itself around the use case of building reliable information. It has hallucinated before, but I get very minimal hallucination from Perplexity, and I get just really robust search results. And then I can even I can do a lot of things with that. Hunter is building the Muesli of newsletters.
No. Muesli just aggregates stuff. It's not the same. I also checked because somebody asked this. I have used 156 million tokens just in Droid just this week.
How much did that experiment we just ran on this show cost?
I paid $200 a month for Max with Droid, $2 a month for Max with Claude Code. And then Cursor probably cost us like $20.
Right.
And I paid $200 a month for Max with Codex.
Dude, so many of these tools are just like losing money in the margins right now, right?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Because it's all land grab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the absolute best way to spend $200 a month on an AI tool is to pay Claude Max.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, if you're building. If not, I'd spend $200 with ChatGPT.
What is UltraThink? How about using UltraThink on 4.5 Sonnet?
Love it. It's great.
What is UltraThink? Why am I not aware of what that is?
I will show you. All right, so check this out. So obviously these are frontier reasoning models, right? Okay, so perfect, implemented, whatever. Okay, cool. Let me just we're just gonna compact. Oh no. Sorry. Compact.
When you hit that compact, do you just out and jump back in, or like how often? I get sketched out and I'm like, oh crap, where I
I usually don't compact. I usually just new.
When it auto compacts, or you see that you've got like 2% left, you're like, okay, I got to get to a stopping point.
Yeah, I try and get to a stopping point. But okay, so let's say there's a bug where our real-time notification service times out. Okay. Now what I can do is that's it. Now I could do /think. I guess it's not going to work because I already typed the command. I'll do UltraThink. So UltraThink, you see how it became rainbow?
Yes.
Okay. About the problem. So now what I'm seeing is you can throw max compute power about it. You can think about it for much longer. And so there's different modes of this. So if I was to just like Control W and delete everything, I'm just
Control W deletes in mass.
It deletes words.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like one word,
That's the most valuable
two
thing I
word.
learned this.
Now watch, Control W. There goes a word. There goes another word, etc. Right. But basically, you can turn. It looks like they've turned it off. Yeah, they've changed the setting because what it was doing is if you would type think, it would be toggling your stuff. But I can say think hard about. Oh, now it's not even doing it with the new update.
Wait,
So it's just ultra think
So
now.
if you hit tab and you turn thinking on and off, is that not ultra think?
It looks like they've removed it. Is what I'm saying. For a
Oh.
couple versions, they had it to where you could hit /think and it would toggle whether or not it was going to reason or just work. And now it's just ultra think, it seems. But it used to be like think really hard about this,
Wait,
and that would
hitting tab turns thinking on and off though, right?
no, not for me.
I'm doing it right now.
Oh, okay. They changed it. Yeah. Okay. So thinking, right?
Is ultra think.
No, ultra
Okay.
think is a step above.
Got it.
So basically, think like
Thinking is extended thinking.
Yeah. So think default no thinking is low.
Right.
Thinking is medium. Ultra think is high.
Okay. So I've never used ultra think. I didn't know about that. Interesting.
Yeah. Use it for juicy problems.
All right. Well, this is
what an episode. We learned a lot.
Yeah, this is genuinely like, this gets me motivated. I love talking about the news. I love riffing and just talking shit. It's fun for me. I like walking out of here like stoked to go and build some stuff. So we're going to try to come with that energy every week. I'm going to try to maximize the value I get out of Hunter before he launches his multi-million-dollar tool he's working on and abandons us all with real CEO responsibility.
I'm just trying to ship multiple things, dude.
I know. No, nothing, by the way, nothing that you're working on right now sounds boring. And you were the boring person. You were the one beating the drum on how exciting boring businesses were to you. And I'm waiting for the boring business.
It's all perspective, dude. It's all perspective.
You think what you're working on is extremely boring?
No. I think it's very opinionated and it's niche.
Okay.
And I love that. All right.
Yeah.
All right, people. I got work to do. I'm going to watch The Last Frontier on Apple TV while I work. I'm going to check it out, see if it's any good. Have you checked it out yet?
No. I'm watching. Listen, I watch the nerd stuff. I'm watching Critical Role right now. All right.
What is that?
Episodes. Critical Role. YouTubers. They played D&D together. They're the biggest D&D tabletop commercial thing. They're a wonderful company.
That's cool. Have you checked out Task on HBO?
I have not, but it looks good.
Dude, it's so fucking good.
That looks good. That is on the radar.
Tom Pelphrey is the star. He was in Ozark.
Yeah.
And Banshee, if you've ever seen Banshee, which is kind of a piece of shit show, but it's awesome at the same time.
Banshee.
He's insane, dude. If he doesn't win an Emmy for this show, I quit.
You boycott?
He's insane. It's so good, man. It's a great show. Everybody should watch it.
Awesome.
All right, that was my HBO show. All right, dude. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you, buddy. We'll catch you guys next week.